And now we're going to talk about basic electrical components. Now we're going to define the terms that apply generally to all electrical components so that we can start talking about the equations that go with circuit analysis and also talk about circuit configuration. Okay, the first term we're going to start off with is contact points. And so let's go ahead and start by defining what contact points is. All right, contact points. Contact points are electrodes that allow electrical energy or electricity to flow into and out of a circuit or a device, an electrical component. Now I'm going to move this over so that we're not getting over here into my pictures. So contact points are electrodes that allow electricity to flow into and out of a device. So think of these as the entrance and an exit that is going to connect the device into our circuit. Here's something that we need to know about these. Every device or component has at least two. Some have more, some have multiple electrodes. Multiple contact points, and you're looking at transistors and things like that. And as a matter of fact, I've seen them up to 10 different contact points, and they all do something different for the device. Now, these contact points have different names, then depending on what they're talking about. Now, in a DC circuit or direct current circuit, which is the ones that we're analyzing in this class, and then the most basic ones, the two names are cathodes and anodes, and we'll define these separately. The cathode is the contact point where electrical current leaves an electrical device. Okay, so any point that I have, or any electrical device that has a contact point where the current leaves, and by current I mean conventional current. Okay, and so we're talking conventional current, leaves an electrical device, that is the cathode. And the reason why we define it in terms like this is you're going to see later that if I were to give it a positive or a negative sign, it's actually going to be different based on what kind of device we're looking at. So we want to define it as this is where conventional current leaves an electrical device. And just so we know and review, conventional current is current that flows out of the positive side of the battery and into the negative side of the battery. The other type of current that we had was electron flow, and that is where electrons flow out of the negative side of the battery and then back into the positive side of the battery. Okay. The anode, on the other hand, is the contact point where electrical current flows into the device. All right, so here I have a device, and this is just a general device over here, and I'm going to go ahead and mark an electrical current. And so I'm going to say the electrical current on this device flows in this direction. So whatever device this is, resistor, diode, a capacitor, it doesn't really matter. Instead, what I need to do is I need to look at the direction of the current flow. So in this case, current is going to flow into the bottom of the device and then out of the top. And so let's go ahead and label these. This right here is going to be, because of that, it is going to be, because electrical current is flowing into the device, that is going to be the anode. So we'll label that as our anode. Now, the electrical current is actually going to be leaving the device up here, and so that makes this the cathode. All right. So in these two instances, the anode is, once again, where the electrical current is flowing into the device, and the cathode is where it is leaving the device. Now I have a circuit set up over here, and we're going to move it over out of our way. And just so we remember, this long side of the battery here is our positive side, and the short side of the battery is our negative side. And so that means that if I were to draw the electrical current, well, we talk about conventional current, so it comes out of the positive side, and it re-enters the negative side. And so if I were to draw this on around, you would see that it goes in this direction. Okay, so now let's go ahead and label these. Well, if I look at the actual device, the resistor or whatever it is, the light bulb, well, the entrance or the anode is actually going to be right here. Okay, so the anode is where the current flows into the device. And so it's over here, the electrical current flows down and into the device right there. The cathode, on the other hand, which is where the electrical current flows out of the device, is on the bottom. And then likewise, if I were to apply that same reasoning to the battery here, well, the anode, where does the electrical current flow in? Well, it flows in from the bottom, so that makes this side the anode. And the cathode, well, the cathode flows in from the electrical current flows out from the top of the battery, or the positive side of the battery, and so that makes the cathode up here at the top of the battery. Now, the reason why I did not use positive and negative to identify the cathode and anode has a lot to do with, well, if I look at these two devices, both of these are devices. And so if I were to look at these, well, the cathode over here is positive, and the anode is negative on the battery. So the cathode's positive on the battery, and the anode's negative on the battery. But if I look at our electrical device over here, what we use, the convention is, it says that anything that touches the battery or anything that's in contact with the battery, it takes the sign of whatever it's touching. So in this case, the anode is touching the positive side of the battery through this wire, and so that means that this gets a positive sign. And the cathode is touching the negative side of the battery through this wire, and so that gets a negative sign. So now, if you notice, they're flipped. So the cathode of a battery is positive, but the cathode of an electrical component such as a resistor or a capacitor is negative. All right, and actually, if you Google the definition of cathode, it will give you both of them. It'll say the positive side of a voltage or a current providing device, and that would be a battery is positive. And then it also gives you the definition that the negative side of an electrical device that has electrical current flowing through it is the cathode. So keep that in mind, that cathode and anode are not significant as far as positive and negative, but more direction of current flow.